Ever wondered what happens when the stock market hits record highs? It's like a roller coaster ride at its peak. Thrilling, but you just know there's a drop coming. Let's dive into the latest buzz from Wall Street, where S&P 500 futures are holding steady after yesterday's epic climb to all-time highs. And this is the part most people miss. What if this stability masks bigger storms ahead? Stick around, because we'll unpack the details, clarify some key concepts for beginners, and touch on points that might spark a heated debate in the comments. Picture this: traders bustling on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, screens flashing with numbers that could change fortunes in an instant. On this Thursday, futures tied to the S&P 500 index, you can check them out here. https://.sp500index remained essentially flat following the benchmark's surge to unprecedented levels in the prior trading day. For the full story, visit https://cnbc.com/10/7/stock-market-today. These futures contracts, which are like bets on the index's future value, dipped just slightly. Similarly, Nasdaq 100 futures, available at https://nd.1, edged lower, while Dow Jones Industrial Average futures, see https://dj1, ticked up by 23 points, about 1%, a modest gain that shows some optimism. Building on Wednesday's success, the S&P 500, track it at https://spx, secured its 8th win out of the last 9 sessions. The tech-focused Nasdaq Composite, monitored at https://www.cnbc.com/ixic, soared over 1%, breaking through the 23,000 barrier for the very first time. The Dow, follow it here, https://www.cnbc.com/dji, however, barely move, held back by underperformance from its blue-chip companies, those big established companies. Yet Nvidia, find more at https://www.cnbc.com/nvda, a tech powerhouse, played hero, jumping more than 2% after its CEO Jensen Huang chatted with CNBC. Catch the interview at https://www.cnbc.com/2025-10-08, Jensen Huang, Nvidia Computing Demand.html, about how demand for computing power has skyrocketed this year. While there's plenty to cheer about moving forward, I wouldn't be shocked if we see more ups and downs, remarked Kevin Mon, head of investments at Hennion Walsh Asset Management, during CNBC's Closing Bell Overtime. Watch it at https://www.cnbc.com/closingbellovertime. In those volatile moments, investors on the sidelines might finally jump in. For newcomers, volatility just means wild price swings, sometimes good for buying low, but risky if you're not prepared. Thursday brings no major economic reports due to the ongoing government shutdown, which is basically a pause on certain federal operations that can delay data releases. Still, eyes will be on the morning speech by Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell at a community bank event, plus talks from other Fed officials like Michelle Bowman and Mary Daly. This follows the release of minutes from the Fed's latest policy meeting. Read them at https://www.cnbc.com. Fed Minutes September 2025.html, which revealed internal disagreements on future interest rate moves. But here's where it gets controversial. Some argue the Fed is too slow to cut rates, potentially stifling growth, while others say holding steady prevents inflation from roaring back. What side are you on? 4 minutes ago, PepsiCo's stock jumps as earnings impress. Shares of PepsiCo. Delve deeper at https://quotes/PEP. Climbed in pre-market trading after the food and drinks giant unveiled its third quarter figures. Full details here, https://2025-10/09 PepsiCo Pep Q3 2025 earnings.html. That surpassed analyst predictions. The company posted adjusted earnings of $2.29 per share on total revenue of $23.94 billion. Experts had forecasted profits of $2.26 per share and sales of $23.83 billion. The stock last traded up around 1%. PEP 5-day chart. Fred Imberts, 17 minutes ago. Gold faces potential macroeconomic challenges, warns BCA analysts at BCA Research point out that despite gold's relentless ascent to fresh records, the precious metal remains vulnerable to broader economic pressures. Gold's strong push past $4,000 per ounce solidifies the long-term bullish outlook, fueled by unwavering interest from central banks and escalating global budget worries, they wrote in a client update. These fundamental drivers have overshadowed gold's traditional negative correlation with real interest rates and the US dollar. That said, even accounting for its upward trajectory, gold still shows a distinct sensitivity to real rates and the dollar's strength, indicating that short-term fluctuations are still influenced by economic cycles. This suggests that while the structural rise continues, temporary pullbacks could occur if rates rise or the dollar gains ground, they continued. Gold futures explore at https://www.cnbc.com/quotes@GC have surged over 53% so far this year. Gold futures year to date. Fred Imbert 12 hours ago. Bassett Furniture stock dips despite better earnings. Bassett Furniture Industries. Learn more at https://www.quotes. Shares dropped nearly 2% in after-hours trading last Wednesday, even though the company improved on its earnings compared to last year. It reported 9 cents per share in profits on $80.1 billion in revenue for the third quarter. A year earlier, Bassett had lost 52 cents per share with $75.6 million in sales. The stock had actually risen 5.7% during Wednesday's regular session in anticipation of the report. Overall, it's gained more than 21% in 2025. Alex Herring 12 hours ago. Futures for major indices remain steady. Shortly after 6 p.m. Eastern Time, futures for the Dow, S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 were all hovering near unchanged levels. Alex Herring, what do you think? Will the Fed's cautious approach pay off, or is it time for bolder moves? And is gold still your go-to safe haven in uncertain times, or has it lost its shine? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear if you agree or disagree.